The Boston Celtics did it again as Brad Stevens got another late draft steal cooking up after he made the trade back out of pick 32, and he selected Max Shulga from WVU. And we're going to go in and explain what he can bring for this Celtics team and ultimately what the Celtics have planned with some further updates with their press conference following the draft as well. We got a lot to break down revolving this Celtics team as they had a busy night and are doing some things on the soft ends, but also looking into the bigger picture as well, as free agency and signing some of these key free agents is right around the corner with the draft wrapping up today. So we'll be diving into all of that and more in this episode of Celtics Digest. I am Bruce Veliz, and you guys have been fantastic. I want to appreciate all the support you guys have been giving us on our latest video so far. It's absolutely soaring, where the Celtics went and selected Amari Williams from Kentucky, the big man, the passing big, someone that I really like, someone that King Nick and Nick NBA really likes, our boy Patrick really likes. So if you guys missed that video, go check that one out. But without further ado, we're going to dive in. We're going to explore. We're going to get into the next pick that the Celtics made because they had two selections with going into the draft today, only with one. So let's dive into it and explain what happened with the Celtics team. As this was a nice pickup for the squad on the low end. And like I mentioned, they had two draft picks coming into today, and before the draft, they only had one. They had picked 32, but with the Suns taking Rasheer Fleming at 31 and leapfrogging the Boston Celtics, who had planned to take him at pick 32, the Celtics felt it was necessary to trade back, in which doing so, they got back some additional draft capital, but also they got pick 46 and pick 57 from the Orlando Magic. And in this draft, they went out and selected Amari Williams, like I mentioned, with pick 46. We already had a video on that. With pick 57, they went and got Max Shulga from WVU. And from looking at some stats from Shulga so far, like I mentioned, we didn't do research on second round picks here on the channel, and I think he was kind of an unknown, but from what I've heard so far, he does present like a solid two-way player. He's a 6'5" guard from VCU, a two-time first All-Atlantic 10 conference player, 2024-2025 A10 player of the year, where he averaged 14 points, which was a team high, 4 assists, a team high, 5.8 rebounds, which was the second highest, and 1.8 steals, which was a team high. He also shot 40% from three in his 2 seasons at VCU on 5.5 attempts, where his 86 threes last season ranked 6th in the program's single-season list. He also recorded 7 20-point games last season and played at Utah State with Celtics big man Neemias Queta. A lot of great things here from Justin Turpin to kind of give you a little bit of an insight on Max Shulga here. Like I mentioned, 6'5" guard, a little bit of a playmaking type, 14 points per game, 4 assists for the Celtics, 5.9 rebounds, 1.8 steals. Someone who's going to be able to kind of do all of those intangibles, present another playmaker into this backcourt to kind of similarly replace what they are missing there with Jrue Holiday following this trade. Now, Shulga obviously is a little bit more of a developmental piece. I don't think he's going to make an impact right away, as I don't know if I have the tweet here, which we will find out in a little bit. He is a guy that is most likely going to land on a two-way deal. But College Basketball Report said that he's a VCU sniper, is heading to the Boston Celtics, one of the best shooters in college basketball, and 100% an NBA player. Once again, loving this pick for Brad Stevens. He's from Kyiv, Ukraine, and this is from Bobby Kravitsky. Like he mentioned, a terrific shooter, especially off the catch, where he was the A10 player of the year, similar to what Justin Turpin let us know. And as we all know, Celtics are looking to shed some salary and drop below the aprons and trying to navigate that. So making some salary-reducing trades in this draft and featuring some flyers all over the place with some potential must need and indicate to step back for the Celtics for now. So additional trades make this roster make even more sense. We'll see. But financials appear to be the priority over building a 25-26 competitor. And Bobby Manning highlighted this, which I showed in the video earlier when relating to the trade with the Celtics did trade back. They got 2 additional seconds. So now the Boston Celtics obviously don't have pick 46 and 57 because they selected Amari Williams and Max Shulga there, but they have a pick in 2026, a pick in 2027, potentially a pick in 2028 if it's top 45 protected, 1 in 30, and 2 in 31 and 2 in 32, which gives the Celtics a lot of potential assets here, right? 2, 4, 6 tradable second round picks that they could potentially attach to some of these contracts here on the board that they have. Maybe a guy in Xavier Tillman, maybe a guy in Georges Niang to shed that $8 million to give them even more flexibility going into this offseason, because even though they did drop below the second apron and did shed all this salary that we did see, there is still some potential for this team to drop a little bit more. And with them sitting currently roughly at $203 million, now it's obviously a little bit different because the Celtics did select at pick 28, but instead of selecting at pick 32, selected at 46 and 57. I don't know how those contracts really do affect them, and if they're obviously going to be two-way contracts, that obviously is not going to be affecting their salary. So saving a little bit there for the Celtics. But with getting these additional picks that Bobby Manning did highlight here, it does show to me that the Boston Celtics could be kind of looking to maybe putting some of these contracts on to some of these guys. But one of those guys might not be Neemias Queta, as Queta had dinner with a guy in Max Strowga. But not only just that, played basketball with him at Utah State. So a little bit of a connection there. I know we talked about on this channel multiple times the fact of Baylor Scheierman and Ryan Kalkbrenner being potential teammates here in Boston, with them both going to Creighton. Kalkbrenner ended up going to Charlotte, the hub where obviously Charles Lee, the old assistant head coach from the Boston Celtics, is. So that is kind of cool at least to see. But we do at least see the Celtics do get someone that has some chemistry with a former player in Neemias Queta. And obviously with a guy in Chogo most likely going to be a two-way player, right? With a pick 57 selection, it is kind of indicative that it's going to be like that. A guy in Anton Watson last season was also around pick 50. It does at least give you some insight on what he can at least bring for this Celtics team. It's a little bit of a different variance mode. Like I said, 6'5" guard who can play make, be a solid scorer as well. Another three-point shooter, someone that similar would fit in to Joe Mazzulla's system or offense, like a guy like Peyton Pritchard, or like a guy like Baylor Scheierman, like a guy in Drew Peterson. And that's going to be something to keep an eye on with this Celtics team as well, because if he gets a two-way contract, which is what the reporting does seem like it's going to be happening so far, and it does look like potentially a guy and Amari Williams could also be getting a two-way contract for the Celtics. That just means that Hugo Gonzalez is going to be brought onto this team onto the salary, which gives the Boston Celtics adding one more contract into here, which would give them 13 players under contract, which would then have them with 2 open roster spots. Now, Jordan Walsh, Neemias Queta, J.D. Davidson all have team and non-guaranteed contracts, so we'll have to see what the Boston Celtics do if they decide to pick those up or decline those to potentially even shed some more salary. But I think it would make sense for the Celtics to pick those up and potentially use them in other deals involving second-round picks to offload their salaries to teams with salary cap. And that's something that I think we might see instead, right? The Celtics, like I mentioned, taking a 31 first-round pick and being like, hey, you want J.D. Davidson? Because we already have Derrick White, Anthony Simons, Peyton Pritchard, Baylor Scheierman, Hugo Gonzalez, and now a guy and Max Strowga who's going to be playing on the two-way contract. Or do you want a Georges Niang and we'll attach some second-round picks to our salary cap team that has open money, just so the Celtics can get out of these contracts and maybe one of these teams will invest into them, depending if they're a young team. I could see plenty of them being interested in maybe a Tillman as a rebuild project, or Queta's potential, Jordan Walsh as a rookie, J.D. Davidson if the Celtics do go that route. Like I said, I don't think all of those guys could potentially be traded. Maybe some guys on the fringes could be moved with these second-round picks, or the Celtics still do consider moving off guys in Anthony Simons, or even Sam Hauser to potentially shed some more money. Mike Zarin did say following the draft here today, I do not have the screenshots, but he did say, and you can look it up on Twitter for confirmation, that the Boston Celtics did not consider trading Jaylen Brown and Derrick White. He doesn't know where those rumors came from. Those are the Celtics core players, and they're not interested in trading them. So once again, rest assured to go to sleep at night tonight, safe in dreams, because the Celtics are not moving off of those guys. So if they shed salary, it will be some other players. But also, he mentioned that the Boston Celtics don't necessarily have a specific number that they're trying to get to in the salary cap, right? Obviously, it does seem like they're trying to get underneath the second apron, right? So they can avoid some of those restrictions. Might even see them try to drop below the first apron here, which, if you're the Boston Celtics, would require you to shed around $8 million more in salary. But trading a contract like Georges Niang, or trading a contract like a Sam Hauser, or potentially even flipping multiple contracts of smaller deals like J.D. Davidson, Xavier Tillman, Neemias Queta, and Jordan Walsh, could get you to that point to where you're underneath and into the tax threshold to have even more flexibility going on into what you're going to be able to accomplish going into next season. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Once again, the Celtics, I do not believe are still done. We'll still hear some smaller things going on with them. And with free agency kind of coming into play, I'm sure they'd love to bring some new faces in, specifically with Jayson Tatum being injured and trying to supplement that role of the forward room, because they still haven't really addressed that, regardless in the draft or free agency, who's going to be able to really take those minutes. So that's something to keep an eye on with this Celtics team as well. And once again, how they try to reshuffle this roster and gear up for next season. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. I'm really, really excited to see what the Celtics team does get into these next couple of days, because Brad Stevens did move quick within those two trades of Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porziņģis. And I wouldn't be shocked if there's more moves coming up his sleeve, and he moves fast on those as well. So let me know your thoughts. Like I said, hope you guys do enjoy the content. Hit the subscribe and let me know what you think. See you guys later. Have a great rest of your night, and go Boston Celtics.